Losing your temper is a luxury. There are things that you get upset about, and there are the things that hit you so hard or so frustrating that you find yourself almost in a state of zen-like calm. Not even angry, we say. I'm beyond mad. It's interesting how the things you do lose your temper about pale in comparison or in seriousness to these other things. You're mad that construction has slowed down traffic, but when United fails to provide a pilot for the flight you paid a lot of money for and your trip is now 7 hours delayed, you simply accept it and deal with it. You yelled when somebody screwed up at work, but when a truly serious mistake happens, you somehow have the composure to reassure them. In his essay on anger, Seneca tells the story of a man who
Am I gonna get in the game yet? Holy shit. Thank you. God damn. Oh yeah, everyone say hi to my I don't know what the fuck this is. You can set her right there. This is a what is this? Desktop mate from Steam. Yeah. Any sway in the morning.
endured a dinner with the emperor who just murdered his son so as to save the life of his remaining son. That seems superhuman, but the reality is that that man probably also regularly lost his temper about the same kinds of things that you do: rude remarks, unnecessary noise, expensive things that don't work. So, how is that contradiction possible? Perhaps
I
it's that
actually
deep
might
down we
need
know
a
these other
close out of
situations we
the
allow
thing because
ourselves
I
to get
think it's
upset
making my
about
game
don't
lag.
matter. It's like how when we scratch our knee, our pain receptors light up, but if our arm had been torn off, our nervous
That
system
kind
would
of
protect
sucks.
us. What a Stoic takes from this biological and psychological quirk is that we do have the power not to freak out. We can deal with situations calmly. If we can contain ourselves after a colossal screw up because we know there is too much work to do, we can contain ourselves when somebody drops an ordinary ball. If we can keep our cool when our life is on the line, we can keep our cool when the stakes are low. We have proof. Losing your temper is a luxury. You're allowing yourself to get upset. You're telling yourself that it doesn't matter.
Nope,
But
I'm
it
still
does
lagging.
matter,
What the fuck?
and the stakes are high. So act that way. You should know this before you get angry. People will piss you off in this life. That's a given. You'll get cut off on the highway. You'll be spoken to rudely. You'll get blown off. Someone will drop the
Why am I
ball.
lagged?
Someone screaming
The
baby
fuck?
will keep you up all night. But before you get upset, you should stop yourself because maybe there's something you don't quite know about that situation. Think of Brandon Matthews, who was about to make contact on a putt that could have secured him a spot in the PGA Open, and then suddenly a spectator screamed.
Weird.
Matthews threw up his hands in disbelief. The interruption cost him the tournament. Well, it turns out that the middle-aged man who had yelled had Down syndrome. In fact, he was such a fan of Matthews that he couldn't contain his excitement. I was
Oh,
frustrated at
Jesus.
first, Matthews said after, because I didn't understand the full circumstances behind it. But once I did, it was a pretty easy situation for me to handle. He walked over to that fan and gave him his golf ball and a hug. Until you know their reasons, Epictetus once said, how do you know whether they have acted wrongly? That moron who cut you off on the highway, what if he's speeding to the hospital? That crying baby could be sick, or have two parents who are just as exhausted as you. The person who spoke rudely to you might be dying. They might have a broken heart. The Stoics remind us to be empathetic. Almost no one does wrong on purpose, Socrates said. Maybe they don't know better. Maybe, as Marcus said, they don't know the difference between good and evil.
This
Which
isn't
is why we have
my
to stop
spawn
ourselves
point.
before we get angry. We have to think about their reasons, what's going on with them. It's okay that you might struggle to control your snap judgments and emotional responses. The word Epictetus used was phantasia, which appears more than 200 times in his discourses. But what matters is what you do after that wears off, what we do next. That's what Brandon Matthews did. He reined himself in, he got his mind around the situation, and then he went and did something touching and kind. And in that moment, he was as great an athlete as there ever was, pulling off a far more impressive feat in sinking that putt, which is why tournament officials of the Arnold Palmer Invitational offered Matthews a spot in the 120-player field, his first PGA Tour event.
Damn it.
And it was well deserved. Love them as you love yourself. Other people. They are all the things Marcus Aurelius said and more: dishonest, arrogant, envious, frustrating, short-sighted, selfish. And yet, other people are not hell, as the expression goes. They are all we have. They are not even other. They are us. We are all one whole, Stoics would say. The Rabbi Hillel was once asked to explain the Torah. Love thy neighbor as thyself, he said. All the rest is commentary. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Nothing could be more urgent right now during a pandemic and a global economic crisis, and when civil unrest roils our streets. In a time when individual decisions have massive health consequences for other people, no message is more fitting. When we are debating and fighting over what equality under the law means, nothing is more fitting. Why should you wear a mask and wash your hands? Because you love your neighbors. Why should you donate to food banks, pay your taxes, treat the people who work for you, or serve your food, or deliver your packages well? Why should you care about civil rights? Because you love your neighbors. Why must we rise above these petty-fogging political distinctions, this enmity and bitterness and dunking on the other side? Because we love our neighbors, because the other side is made up of our neighbors, and it is us. Everyone we meet is an opportunity for kindness, Seneca said. The fruit of this life is acts for the common good, Marcus said. That's all that matters. Everything else is commentary. The reality is anger is a problem for all of us.
What?
I strongly suggest you check out our Tame Your Temper course. It's the best Stoic practices and thinking applied to getting your anger under control, making sure you don't lose your temper, you don't blow up, you don't let the little things bother you more than they need to. These are real practices from real leaders in history who were not simply superhuman and they didn't have tempers. No, they learned how to tame and conquer that anger. You can check that out at dailystoic.com/anger. And of course, if you sign up for Daily Stoic Life, you get a whole bunch of other stuff, but you also get all our courses for free. So you can check that out at dailystoiclife.com. Hey, thanks for watching Daily Stoic. If you want to learn more about Stoicism, you can check out some of our other videos here. Subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. Keep learning, keep studying, and remember those 4 Stoic virtues: courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom. Most empires collapse from within. Most people's failures are self-inflicted. So protect yourself. That's what you control, and that's how you lead a good life. Seneca said that anger is the most savage of the emotions, and he's right. Although it can somewhat be like glamorous or exciting in a movie, I think we all know that anger is not a particularly good look on us or anyone. The Stoics were in positions of leadership. They were really smart. They lived in difficult, chaotic times. All of that was a recipe for losing your temper, which they knew they didn't want to do, and they knew was contrary to the philosophical ideals that they studied. I'm Ryan Holiday. I've written more than 10 books about Stoicism now. I've talked about this philosophy to everyone from the NBA to the NFL, sitting senators and special forces operators. I'm also just a regular human being who has found in my own life that I'm never proud of myself when I lose my temper. And so in today's episode, we're going to talk about some Stoic strategies for keeping your anger under control, for not doing things out of anger that you're going to regret, not just stuffing that emotion down, because that's not healthy, but processing it, channeling it, using it effectively in your own life. Let's get after it. I don't think I've ever lost my temper and then been glad after the fact, right? I'm never so glad I got angry, I got upset. It never makes things better. That's what the Stoics believe, that anger always makes stuff worse. And Seneca points out how totally irrational he says to get angry is like to return a kick to a mule or a bite to a dog. He writes this whole incredible essay on anger to Nero. He says the emperor can't afford to get angry. They have to be calm, they have to be rational, they have to think things through. You know, a sports coach might get angry on purpose to rally the team, but an NBA coach who's not in control of their temper is just going to rack up technical fouls and make the team worse. So we control our tempers. It's not that we don't feel the anger. It's there. We know it's there, but we don't act on it. We try not to act on it because it always makes things worse.
Why I be lagging, goddammit.
The fact that we have that hangover is a really important sign that it's not an emotion or impulse that we want to give into. Yeah, people suck. People are annoying. But Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, dealt with his share of difficult people. He says, is a world without these people possible? A certain percentage of people are going to be like that, he says. So when you understand that, when you accept it, and then you bump into a rude, difficult, shameless, crappy person. You're not surprised. This is one of those numbers. And he says it helps you understand them, helps you deal with them, and most of all helps you not be caught off guard by them. But I think more importantly, it allows you to not take it personally. They're not like this on purpose. Somebody has to be this way, and they're that person. So you might as well put up with them, brush it off, and go do what you need to do. What do you do when somebody else makes a mistake? Marcus Aurelius says other people's mistakes leave them to their makers. Meaning, what other people say and do, they screw stuff up, that's their problem. Actually, no, it's not that it's their problem. It's that it's not up to you. But what is up to you is learning from your own mistakes, avoiding error in your own life. So that's where the Stoic focus is. Not on what other people are saying or doing, not on where someone is wrong. If you've seen that famous comment, I can't go to bed, honey, someone is wrong on the internet. No, a Stoic focuses on their own actions, their own views, their own opinions on what they control. We leave other people's mistakes to them, and as Marcus Aurelius says, we try to be strict with ourselves, tolerant with others, because again, that's the only part of this that's up to us. Marcus Aurelius didn't like people. I mean, you can't read Meditations and not see this. He opens Meditations with a meditation on how frustrating and obnoxious other people are. And even this idea of the obstacle is the way, that quote is him talking about other people, about how people get in our way, how people present obstacles. But he says that in that obstacle, there's an opportunity to actually practice this philosophy that you say you believe, to be good in spite of other people, to be just in the face of injustice, to be temperate in the face of intemperance that's being rewarded, to be courageous when everyone else is being cowardly and being rewarded for it. So for the Stoics, people are frustrating, people are an obstacle, but like all obstacles, they're also the way. There's something, it's a challenge.
Do you know the way?
To meet, we can be better for wrestling with other people's difficulties. So don't resent people, use them to become better. You don't have to let this get to you, Marcus Aurelius says. You don't have to let it upset you. You always have the option to have no opinion, he says. You can just let it go. You can let it drift by like clouds, as the Buddhists talk about when they talk about thoughts. You don't have to let it sink in. You don't have to let it harm you. You don't have to let it get you riled up. You don't have to get worked up. You don't have to respond. You can just let it go. I want you to know that. You don't have to let this get to you. You can just let it go. The best revenge is to not be like that, the Stoics would say. And if you think about it, yes, people can hurt you, but when you look at those people, who they are, why they do what they do, it doesn't actually feel like they're getting away with anything. They're their own worst enemy.
Damn it.
So the Stoics say you give up on revenge. You give up on getting even. Because you already won. You are already better by not being that person. The best revenge, Marcus Aurelius says, is to not be like that.
My whole PC is like lagging.
Everyone's concerned about someone doing violence to them, doing something harmful to them. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we do violence to our souls when we give in to bad urges, when we give in to our temper, when we betray our standards. We do violence to ourselves, to our soul, when we're not the person that we're capable of being. We let those standards lapse. We let ourselves be overwhelmed by destructive emotions or urges when our ego comes into play. Of course, you have to protect yourself from other people, from outside things, from external. But you don't control most of that. Most empires collapse from within. Most people's failures are self-inflicted. Most shame is heaped upon ourselves by our own choices and actions. So protect yourself. That's what you control. Don't do violence to yourself, the Stoics say. And that's how you lead a good life. Stoicism is really, really simple. It's that while we don't control what happens to us, we control how we respond to what happens to us. The Stoics would say, yeah, stuff goes wrong, stuff goes sideways, but we always have this opportunity to practice the four virtues: courage, temperance, justice, wisdom. It's not that there's nothing bad in the world, there's nothing frustrating in the world, there's not stuff we wouldn't want to happen. But when it does happen, it is nevertheless an opportunity to step up with courage, to be self-disciplined, to do something for other people, to practice, to learn, to experience wisdom. That's the idea of Stoicism. We don't control what happens, we control how we respond to what happens. I hope you like this video. I hope you subscribe. But what I really want you to subscribe to is our daily Stoic email, one bit of Stoic wisdom, totally for free to the largest community of Stoics ever in existence. You can sign up at dailystoic.com/email. There's no spam. You can unsubscribe at any time. I love sending it. I've sent it every day for the last 6 years, and I hope to see you there at dailystoic.com/email.
Have you ever noticed how just a few seconds of intense anger can cause more damage than you thought possible? Imagine this. In just the time it takes to snap your fingers, relationships can be strained and days can be ruined. It's startling, isn't it? How powerful and potentially destructive a single moment of anger can be. But what if I told you that this same powerful force, when understood and harnessed, can become a profound tool for personal growth and strength? Today, we dive deep into the ancient yet incredibly relevant world of Stoicism. It's not just about enduring hardship, but transforming our responses to them for greater peace and clarity. I invite you all to engage in this conversation. Comment below with your thoughts and experiences regarding anger. How open are you to exploring Stoic ways to master your emotions? If you're someone who seeks to grow, who loves to challenge your own boundaries of understanding, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Spread the word and help others discover the power of Stoicism. And stay tuned, especially if you're skeptical about what Stoicism can offer. This video is packed with insights that might just change your mind. Together, we'll explore not just the theories, but the practical applications of Stoicism in controlling anger, with real-life examples and actionable advice. It promises to be an enlightening experience, so watch till the end to gain a full understanding of how to transform anger from a destructive impulse into a constructive force. Let's get started. Unpacking the burst of anger. Have you ever suddenly found yourself in the middle of a heated argument, heart racing, with words spilling out that you instantly wish you could take back? That moment, that explosion of anger, seems to come from nowhere, right? It's almost like a switch flips inside us. One minute everything is fine, and the next we're swept up in a wave of emotion so strong that it can feel uncontrollable. This is what I like to call the burst of anger. A sudden release that can disrupt not just your day, but potentially your life. Think about the last time you felt this burst of anger. Maybe it was a disagreement with a friend or a frustration at work. It's something we've all faced. Anger is not just a simple emotion. It's a complex response that can lead to regrettable actions and hurtful words. And let's be honest, it often leaves a trail of damage in its wake, from strained relationships to missed opportunities for understanding and connection. But what if I told you there's a different way to handle this burst? This is where the wisdom of Stoicism comes into play. Stoics teach us that we may not have control over every situation we encounter, but we can control our response. It's not about suppressing your anger or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about recognizing that moment of eruption and choosing a different path. Stoicism offers us tools to pause and reflect instead of react. It teaches us to look at anger through a lens of awareness and understanding. Why am I angry? What triggered this response? By asking these questions, we start to take power back from our impulsive reactions and begin to manage our emotions more constructively. This approach doesn't diminish the validity of our feelings, but empowers us to handle them with clarity and strength. It's about transforming what seems like an uncontrollable outburst into a moment of choice. Every time you feel that surge of anger, remember, this isn't just an emotional response. It's an opportunity to grow, to embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. A Stoic's guide to understanding your fury. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has endured through the centuries, offers a unique lens through which we can view our emotions, especially those as volatile and impactful as anger. So what do the Stoics say about anger? Simply put, they believe that anger stems not from the external events we experience, but from our internal judgments and reactions to those events. Now you might be wondering, how does that help me when I'm actually angry? According to Stoicism, the key lies in recognizing that we have the power to question and adjust our immediate reactions. For instance, when someone cuts you off in traffic, your instant reaction might be anger. Your heart starts pounding. You might yell or gesture at the other driver, and your mood is off for the next few hours. But here's the Stoic twist. Instead of succumbing to anger, you pause. You reflect on why you're angry. Is it truly because of the other driver? Or is it because you've allowed their actions to disturb your peace? This reflection is at the heart of the Stoic approach to anger. It's about stepping back and asking, what is within my control? You can't control the traffic, the other driver, or even the fact that you were cut off. But you can control your response. This doesn't mean you don't feel the rush of emotion. It means you acknowledge it and then choose not to let it dictate your actions. Stoicism teaches us that our emotions, anger included, should be indicators, not dictators. They signal to us that something is happening that might require our attention, but they shouldn't sweep us away into reactive behavior. When we look at anger through this Stoic lens, it becomes less about suppressing anger and more about managing it. It's not suppressing because you're not denying or ignoring your feelings. You're acknowledging them, analyzing them, and then making a conscious decision about how to proceed. This perspective is incredibly empowering. Think about it. If you can master this Stoic practice, how many situations would be less stressful? How much more effective could your communication be? How much more peace could you bring into your life? As we continue this discussion, I invite you to consider the Stoic idea that virtue is the sole good. This doesn't just mean moral excellence, but refers to the idea of living in accordance with reason and wisdom, especially in the face of emotions like anger. By striving towards virtue, we can transform potentially destructive anger into constructive responses that align with our deepest values. So, as we unpack these ideas, remember that Stoicism isn't just about enduring life's challenges. It's about thriving through them by harnessing our inner strength and wisdom. Practical steps to master anger. Controlling anger doesn't mean we never feel angry. Rather, it's about managing our response when that feeling arises. Here's a roadmap you can use to cultivate a more measured reaction when you're tempted to let anger take the wheel. First and foremost, recognize the onset of anger. This is crucial. Stoicism teaches us to be observant of our inner states. Notice when your body begins to show signs of anger. Maybe your heartbeat accelerates, your breathing gets shallow, or you start to clench your fists. These are your body's signals, alerting you that it's time to intervene. Once you recognize these signs, the next step is to pause. This is where the power of Stoicism really shines. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, emphasized the importance of pausing to separate our initial reactions from our deliberate actions. By pausing, you give yourself a moment to step back from the immediate emotional response. This doesn't have to be long. Sometimes just a few seconds can make a significant difference. During this pause, engage in reflective thinking. Ask yourself why you're feeling angry. Is it because your expectations weren't met? Is it because you feel disrespected? Understanding the why behind your anger can help you address the root cause rather than just the symptoms. This step is about responding with reason rather than reacting out of emotion. Now, let's talk about reappraisal of the situation, which is a classic Stoic strategy. This involves reframing the event that triggered your anger. For example, if someone has acted in a way that angers you, instead of viewing it as a personal attack, consider alternative explanations. Perhaps they're having a bad day, or they're unaware of the impact of their actions. This shift in perspective can significantly reduce the intensity of your anger. Another practical step is to focus on what you can control. Stoicism draws a firm line between what's within our control and what's not. You can't control other people's actions, the past, or the fact that certain things have already happened. But you can control your response, your thoughts, and your actions moving forward. Concentrating on these aspects reduces feelings of helplessness and frustration, which are often fuel for anger. Implementing calming techniques is also vital. Once you've paused and reflected, use techniques like deep breathing, counting to 10, or even stepping away from the situation if possible. These methods aren't just about cooling down. They're about giving your rational mind time to regain control from your emotions. Lastly, practice regular reflection. Stoicism isn't just about reacting well in the moment. It's also about preparing for future challenges. Regularly reflect on your day or your reactions to certain situations. What triggered your anger? How did you handle it? What could you do better next time? This ongoing practice builds your resilience and equips you with more effective strategies for managing anger. By integrating these steps into your daily life, you align more closely with Stoic principles, turning each burst of anger into an opportunity for personal growth and wisdom. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate anger entirely, but to master it in such a way that it no longer controls you. Each step you take is a step towards not just greater peace, but also deeper understanding and more effective living. Turning anger into opportunity. Let's take a deeper look at how we can put Stoicism into action, particularly when it comes to transforming our experiences of anger into opportunities for growth and reflection. Stoicism isn't just about handling anger passively. It's about actively converting it into something constructive. One of the most empowering Stoic principles is the concept of using every obstacle as a means to practice virtue. Anger, like any other obstacle, challenges us to practice patience, courage, and wisdom. When you feel anger rising, ask yourself, what is this anger teaching me? It could be showing you where your expectations might be unrealistic, or where you might need to develop greater empathy. For example, consider a situation at work where you feel repeatedly frustrated by a colleague's actions. Instead of letting this build into resentment or outbursts of anger, use this as a Stoic exercise. Each instance can be a moment to practice patience, to communicate your feelings constructively, or to reinforce your boundaries effectively. Here, anger becomes a signal, a cue that something needs your attention, perhaps a part of your own response mechanisms that you can refine and improve. Moreover, turning anger into opportunity means focusing not just on controlling outbursts, but also on cultivating an underlying serenity that comes from Stoic acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation, it means recognizing and adapting to things as they are. When you accept that certain things are beyond your control, like other people's actions or life's unpredictable events, you free yourself from the burden of trying to force things to be different. This acceptance can significantly alleviate feelings of anger. Another practical way to put Stoicism into action is through what Marcus Aurelius called turning the obstacle upside down. Every time you're faced with something that makes you angry, it's an opportunity to turn the situation on its head and extract something beneficial from it. This could be learning to communicate more clearly, setting more realistic expectations, or even just understanding your own triggers more deeply. Each angry moment can be flipped to reveal a lesson or a stepping stone to better self-mastery. Stoic practice also involves reflecting on the impermanence of our emotions. Anger feels intense and all-consuming when it hits, but like everything else, it passes. Reminding yourself of this can help lessen the grip of anger. You can say to yourself, "This too shall pass," and focus on maintaining your composure in the moment, knowing that the intensity of your anger will diminish with time. Lastly, share these lessons with others. Stoicism teaches that wisdom is not just for personal benefit, but is something to be shared. By discussing how you turned an angry moment into a learning opportunity, you can help others see their challenges in a new light. This not only reinforces your own learning, but also extends the benefit beyond yourself, turning personal growth into communal wisdom. So, as we navigate through our days, let's try to view each anger-inducing incident as a chance to apply Stoic wisdom, to grow in virtue, and to contribute to a more rational, composed world. It's about seizing those moments of anger and transforming them into something that not only enhances our lives, but also the lives of those around us. Unlock your inner strength. Empowerment through Stoicism is about more than just managing our anger. It's about finding strength and resilience within ourselves that we might not have realized we possessed. When we talk about empowerment in Stoicism, we're talking about the power to lead our lives with a sense of purpose, peace, and perspective that remains stable, no matter the external circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that true empowerment comes from within. It doesn't rely on external validation or circumstances. Instead, it builds on our ability to control our own responses to the world around us. Consider this. How often have you felt at the mercy of your emotions, tossed around by feelings of anger, frustration, or disappointment? Stoicism offers a different path. It invites us to step back and ask ourselves, can I choose a different response? Do I have the power to see this differently? And the answer, more often than not, is yes. This self-empowerment is realized through the Stoic practice of focusing on what is within our control. You can't control what others say or do, you can't control the past, and you certainly can't control the global events that impact your life. But you can control your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. When you internalize this, every moment of frustration or anger becomes an opportunity to practice this principle. You start to see challenges as chances to exercise your agency and autonomy. For instance, when you're faced with a difficult situation that stirs anger, Stoicism empowers you to choose a response that aligns with your values. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can respond with deliberation and integrity. This might mean taking a deep breath and deciding to address a conflict with calm words, or it might mean choosing to walk away from a situation that is not beneficial to engage with. Moreover, Stoicism empowers us by changing our relationship with our emotions. Instead of being overwhelmed by anger, we learn to recognize it as a natural response that we can observe, understand, and manage. This emotional intelligence does not just alter our interactions, it changes the way we lead our lives. We become more resilient as we're no longer derailed by every emotional upheaval, and more adaptable, capable of thriving in a variety of circumstances. Empowerment also comes from the Stoic practice of self-reflection. By regularly examining our choices, behaviors, and reactions, we gain deeper insights into our character and motivations. This reflective practice not only helps
Play
us
with
make
Soviets?
better decisions
Yep.
in the future, but also fosters a
I
profound
play
sense of
Americans and
self-awareness
Soviets
and
mostly.
self-acceptance. We learn to trust ourselves, to lean on our internal compass, rather than being swayed by every passing storm. And finally, empowerment through Stoicism is about contributing to the greater good. Stoicism
Gonna
teaches
turn my
that we
heat
are
down,
part of a
goddamn.
larger community and that our choices impact others. By choosing to
getting kinda
respond
hot.
to situations with reason and calm, we contribute to a more rational and peaceful world. We lead by example, showing others that it is possible to respond to life's challenges with grace, and strength.
American? Hell
In
yeah.
embracing stoicism,
Well, I
we
got
find a powerful
a
ally
whole
in our
bunch
quest
of
for a fulfilled and
stuff
balanced
unlocked,
life.
so
So,
I'm just trying
as
to
we continue
grind
on this journey,
the Soviets now.
let's remind ourselves of the incredible strength that lies within us, ready to be harnessed through the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. It's not just about controlling anger, it's about unlocking a level of personal power and resilience that
My game is a
transforms
little
all
laggy, and
aspects of our
that really
lives.
sucks. What the fuck?
Mastering your emotions with Stoic principles. This isn't about suppressing what you feel. It's about understanding and directing your emotions in a way that's productive and healthy. Stoicism provides us with tools to not only
Fuck, where do I
confront
want
our
to put
feelings,
this?
but to transform our entire approach to dealing with emotions, especially challenging ones like anger. Let's unpack this a bit.
What BR
In
am I?
Stoicism, one of the core principles is that our
I think
emotions
maybe
are largely the
3 or
result
4.
of our judgments and beliefs. When we feel angry, it's often because we've made a judgment about a situation or person, that they've wronged us, that an injustice has occurred, or that something should not be the way it is. Here lies a powerful opportunity. If we can change our judgments, we can change our emotional responses. To master our emotions, we start by examining these judgments critically. Ask yourself,
Damn it.
why do I believe this situation is bad? Is it within my control? Can I look at this differently? This type of questioning is central to Stoic practice and fosters a kind of emotional agility that can be incredibly freeing. Imagine you're stuck in traffic and you start to feel that familiar rise of frustration. A Stoic approach would encourage you to analyze that frustration. You might think, being angry won't clear the traffic. Can I use this time productively instead? Perhaps this is a good moment to listen to a podcast or an audiobook. Suddenly,
Nice.
the
Hell
situation
yeah.
hasn't changed, but your perception of it has, and so has your emotional state. This is where the concept of amor fati, or love of fate, comes into play. It's a Stoic mindset that invites you to embrace whatever happens as an opportunity. It's about more than just acceptance. It's a deep appreciation for life as it unfolds, even when it unfolds in unexpected ways. When you start to practice amor fati, you're not only managing your anger better, you're cultivating a profound peace that comes from the confidence that you can handle anything that comes your way. Moreover, mastering emotions with Stoicism means developing a strong sense of inner fortitude. Every time you choose not to lash out in anger, you strengthen your character. You start to build a reputation with yourself as someone who is dependable, stable, and calm. This internal trust is crucial. It's the foundation of self-esteem and personal integrity. And let's not forget the power of preparation. Stoics are big on preparing mentally for what might go wrong.
Ow.
This isn't pessimism,
Oh, no.
it's practical wisdom. By thinking ahead about how you might deal with potential frustrations or anger-inducing situations, you equip yourself with a toolkit for emotional management. When those moments arise, you're not caught off guard. You have a plan, and you have practices in place.
I wish
like
more
deep
people would
breathing,
build all the rally
reframing
points.
your thoughts,
Oh well.
or stepping back to gain perspective. Mastering your emotions with Stoicism isn't a quick fix. It's a lifelong journey of self-reflection, practice, and growth. It requires consistency, honesty with oneself, and the courage to face up to our emotions in a fundamentally different way. But the rewards are immense. Not only do you gain control over your anger and other emotions, but you also gain a serene and resilient spirit that can significantly enhance your quality of life. Let's keep exploring these practices together and continue to
Well, at
grow
the
in
same
wisdom
time, if
and
I'm the only one with the
tranquility.
rally point,
As
then
we
they
wrap
have
up
to spawn
today's
on mine,
journey
and then I
into
get more
mastering our
points.
emotions with
So
Stoicism, remember that the path to inner peace isn't always smooth, but every step you take is a step toward a calmer, more resilient you. Thank you for joining me here at Stoic Journal. Your presence and engagement in this community are what make it truly special. If you're eager to dive deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism, check out the suggested video on your screen next. Let's continue to grow together, embracing the challenges and transforming them into opportunities for personal development. See you there, and once again, thank you for being a part of this journey.
Of what use is anger when the same end can be arrived at by reason? Do you suppose that a hunter is angry with the beasts he kills? Seneca. Anger is an emotion that everyone experiences at some point in their lives. There are different ways in which anger manifests and also different ways to handle it. Some people throw temper tantrums when they don't get their way. Others respond with anger when they are in danger. And a respectable amount of people cling to the idea of being wronged, which results in a form of anger that slowly consumes us, also known as resentment. In this video, I would like to talk about anger, the dangers of anger, and some suggestions on how
Get
to
more
deal
points
with
from it
a
anyways.
Stoic
Yeah.
Buddhist perspective. Even though anger is natural, we cannot deny that the consequences of unrelented and uncontrolled anger can be devastating. It's not uncommon that anger leads to murder. History has taught us that deeply rooted anger, also
Oh,
called
whoa,
hate,
look.
can lead to mass violence, war, and even genocide. Still, many people justify anger, calling it righteous anger, when they have solid reasons to be angry. Also, people see anger as a functional emotion that assists us in asserting ourselves and self-defense. And Aristotle declared anger to be a desire to repay suffering. We also see anger as a form of discipline, when harvested in the right way, it may help us to attain our goals. Stoic philosopher Seneca,
What the
however,
fuck?
is critical towards the validity
Is
of
the
his
DP
claims,
tier
telling
3?
us that anger is a form of madness.
Not
Quote,
sure, not
for
gonna
it
lie.
is equally devoid of self-control, regardless of decorum,
Might
forgetful
be.
of kinship, obstinately engrossed in whatever it begins to do, deaf to reason and advice, excited by trifling causes, awkward at perceiving what is true and just, and very like a falling rock which breaks itself to pieces upon the very thing which it crushes. End quote. There's a Buddhist story that challenges the notion of righteous anger by telling us about a young boy with a bad temper. His father was concerned with this, but instead of fighting anger with anger, he gave the boy a bag of nails and a hammer. He told him to hammer a nail in the fence every time he loses his temper. At the first day, the boy hammered about 30 nails in the fence, but when the days passed, the daily amount of nails decreased, until the day came that the boy didn't lose his temper once. He proudly told his father, who gave his son the instruction to pull out a nail every
What?
time he was
Oh,
able
God.
to suppress his temper. Finally, the day arrived that all nails were pulled out. The father showed his son the fence and said, "Well done, my son. However, I want you to look closely at the fence. It's full of holes, which means that it has been changed forever. When you let anger out, it will leave scars. You can stick a knife into it
Damn
and
it.
pull it out, but no matter how often you apologize, the scar will be there
Damn.
forever." End quote. Even when we may seem to have a very good reason to be angry, which is basically a sense of being wronged and violated, we only risk to do further damage, especially to ourselves, if we throw our ability to reason in the gutter and let our emotions take over. When reason ends, anger begins, said the Dalai Lama. Now, there are many different forms of anger. There's rage, surliness, resentment, bitterness, harshness. There's temporary anger that lasts a few minutes, and long-term anger.
How
that
long you
lasts
gonna
a
stream?
lifetime.
I usually stream until like maybe
Two types of anger.
12. Sometimes I go for way longer,
Type of anger is the one
until like
figuratively speaking,
6 in the morning.
sets oneself and the surroundings on fire. The second
No
type
matter
of
what, I
anger
always
is
try
the
to
one
stream
that
for at least 6 hours.
carried along for years.
And if I'm
Deep
feeling like burnt out and worn out, then I'll usually get off. But if I'm having a good time, I'll just continuously play until I either get too tired or I get burnt out.
Animal aggression is based
But no
on
matter what, I always
reflex.
try
The
to
fundamental
go
difference
for
between animals
6
and
hours,
humans
whether
is
I'm
the ability to
having fun or not.
Seneca doubts the usefulness of anger for the nature of former laws of society, very one wants to be good, the other to do harm. The one to help even strangers, the other to attack even its dearest friends. The one is ready even to sacrifice itself for the good of others. The other to plunge into peril, provided it drags others with it. End quote. Now, is anger useful? Both Buddhist and Stoic ideas agree on one point. Anger is not useful. The Dalai Lama points
Oh,
out
whoa,
the
whoa, whoa, whoa.
policy of kindness, stating that anger is
Okay, well, I'm a hop right now, but I'll get back on in a bit and I'll try to add you as friends list. Alright, sounds good, homie. Thanks for joining and chatting.
If there are sound reasons or basis for the points you demand, then there is no need to use violence. On the other hand, when there are concessions to be made to you, mainly your own desire, then reason cannot work, and you have to rely on force. Thus, using force is not a sign of strength, but rather a sign of weakness.
Oh, jeez, still behind
When
us?
we are
God
about
damn.
to throw a tantrum, it's always good to ask ourselves the following question. Are we in this from a place of force, from a place of powerlessness? According to Seneca, there's nothing reason cannot do what anger can. In his work of anger, he makes a distinction between using force and using force with anger. In some situations, it is necessary to use force. Many people believe that using force goes together with anger, and that being angry can somehow assist them in their use of force. But Seneca compared anger to drunkenness. In a battle, angry fighters have no control over their movements, like dogs. Eventually, their rashness leads to
Damn.
defeat by a more intelligent opponent that isn't led by the passions. So, what can we do about it? Anger comes in different stages. It may start with a light irritation, which then builds up to one angry outburst. When the latter is the case, it's too late. Seneca argues that in order to remedy anger, we should become aware of it in the early stages and apply antidotes when it's still small. I quote, "That which is diseased can never bear to be handled without complaining. It is best, therefore, to apply remedies to oneself as soon as we feel that anything is wrong, to allow oneself as little license as possible in speech, and to restrain one's impetuosity. Now, it is easy to detect the first growth of our passions. The symptoms precede the disorder." End quote. So it is clear that the Stoics prefer tranquility over anger. But how do we achieve this? In Buddhist as well as Stoic sources, we'll find different approaches and ideas that can help to kick anger to the curb. An important one is patience.
Alright, maybe this ain't the spot. Damn it.
The thought behind patience is actually important called impermanence. Everything is in flux. What's happening in this moment will soon be the past. Not only the things that we are upset about will lose their significance, feelings of anger will start to subside. That's why counting to 10 is
My game name
advice.
is The Sportsman X.
It may be better to
Alright,
count to 100.
I'll add you.
Another one is acknowledging that we are angry. This doesn't mean that we act out. It's just that we accept that the emotion is present. And when we feel that we are angry, for example, because we want to be goody-goodies that never get angry, regardless of our true feelings, we're fooling ourselves and the world. It's just another form of repression that will end up in the unconscious. We can just say to someone, "I feel angry right now," without hitting the person with a rock. When we acknowledge our anger, we create space between the observer and the emotion, without identification with that emotion.
My man's taking a nap.
It won't control us. Another one is forgiveness, which works better when it comes to long-term anger like resentment. When we forgive, we can finally give ourselves permission to let go of the grudges that we have been carrying around for so long. The Stoic idea of control is a good argument to practice
Easy.
forgiveness. Some things are in our control, some things aren't. We can't change the past. We can't control what the person who wronged us says, does, or feels. But we can change our position towards it. We can let go and forgive, or we can choose to drink poison and wait for the other person to perish. But it's more likely
Only
that this
18?
leads
I
to
feel
our
like I
own
got a lot more
slow
than that.
and painful
Weird.
death.
Oh well.
Thank you for watching.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not even done with tier 3 yet. Darn. Jesus. Oh wait, not Excel.
To be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea still falls around it. So said Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and emperor of Rome. And if I have one goal for the new year, it's to be more like this: steady, reliable, and patient, as the world continues to hammer us all.
What?
This
A
video is about
captain.
sitting with your emotions, such as
Darn.
grief or anger, and using them for the best possible ends. I'll begin with a reflection on the Mask of Zorro, look briefly at Qui-Gon Jinn from Star Wars, and connect those stories with the work of Ryan Holiday and the writings of Marcus Aurelius in Meditations. This is Geeky Stoics.
Only 5 days? Come on now, man.
The other day, I was rewatching The Mask of Zorro, a childhood favorite of mine. And Zorro is a wonderfully fun movie and a powerful guide to the foundational principle of Stoic philosophy, which is focusing on what is within your control. Anthony Hopkins as Don Diego demonstrates this with
The Master's wheel. This circle will be your world.
the swordsman begins in a large circle where nothing exists beyond it. Not his enemies, not politics, or personal needs.
Until I tell you otherwise, there is nothing outside of it. There is nothing!
As the swordsman grows, the circle contracts, bringing him closer to his goal. Zorro's goal is revenge, and to kill one Captain Love who murdered his brother Joaquin. The circle is about control, and training Zorro to bring his enemy into a space where he can maximally influence the outcome and win the battle. If Zorro were to act too soon against Love, he might find himself outside his circle and at a disadvantage. He'd be killed, and justice would never be delivered. It bears a remarkable similarity to the concept in psychology and cognitive behavioral therapy of the sphere of influence, or circles of control, where the patient is someone who wastes their energy and their emotion on things they can't influence as a single individual. You cannot control the weather or tomorrow's climate, but you can get the right clothing for that weather so that you're comfortable. Bring things into your circle. There's an unforgettable scene late in the film where Zorro is in his disguise of one Don Alejandro. He is sitting in the presence of Captain Love. Love does not know that Don Alejandro is the hero known as Zorro, but he has grown suspicious of who he might really be. Love tries to rattle Alejandro by slamming a jar on the table between them, a jar containing the preserved head of Zorro's brother. Alejandro has been training for this moment since the journey began, not to duel Captain Love, but to not duel Captain Love.
I wish you luck. To your health.
To sit still. Yes, Alejandro needed work as a sword fighter, but that wasn't his story arc. It was to gain self-control and delay gratification. He wanted things now, now, now. But he needs to control the ground on which he is fighting. That was his real journey. And so he does not give Captain Love what he's looking for in an emotional response. Zorro does not hit send. This is not weakness. It's Herculean strength and Stoic philosophy in action. Stoicism gets a bad rap for being a philosophy of repression, a criticism that gets leveled often at it and is extended to characters like the Jedi in Star Wars. But it's not true.
Being
Alright,
angry and then doing something out of
I need to
anger.
see
You would
something.
have your immediate reaction, but there's a lot of space between that and hitting send on the email that you wrote, dressing them down.
That is what author Ryan Holiday of the Daily Stoic is talking about here, and I think he gets it right. Stoicism doesn't ask you to not feel. It asks you to wield that emotion purposefully, rather than becoming subservient to those emotions. They are the tool, not you. and Stoics were awash in emotion historically. They had romantic relationships, they had children, and they were politicians confronting fear and suspicion, betrayal, and doubt in their daily lives. The most enduring of the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, he buried 9 children in his lifetime, his kids. He buried his wife, Faustina, and when his beloved tutor died, it's written that Aurelius sobbed uncontrollably. Marcus's stepfather,
I wonder
Antoninus,
if it's
told him,
because when I
neither philosophy nor empire
started
takes
the
away
game up with that one
natural
other
feeling.
application,
That's
then
right.
maybe that's
And
what
Zorro
was making
hasn't
it
stopped
laggy.
loving his brother, and he is not done with his anger towards Captain Love. But he learned from his mentor how to channel those feelings toward a goal. After his confrontation with Captain Love, Zorro walks out of the room and cracks his cane over his leg, breaking it in two. This actually reminds me of Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn in The Phantom Menace, when he has to negotiate with the junk dealer and slave owner, Watto, in order to get their starship repaired so Queen Amidala can be delivered to Coruscant.
Almost forgot to do
Their
that.
mission is of massive importance to the galaxy, and failure could mean political chaos in the Republic. The stakes are very, very high. Watto does not know this, and he wouldn't give a shit if he did. Then Watto has the nerve to be immune to Qui-Gon's Jedi mind trick and to reject Republic currency for the spare parts that they need. You can see that Qui-Gon is furious, but he does not speak. He just observes Watto and forces out a visibly frustrated smile before walking away from the situation. Jin could have easily killed or subdued Watto and then taken what he needed, but then he wouldn't be Qui-Gon Jinn, a Jedi Knight. What Stoicism promotes is the abiding reality of emotions and a recognition of their power. Are our emotions who we are, or are they something else? I like to think of Stoicism and emotion like this. A cloaked visitor has knocked on your door in the night, and you open the door, greet the visitor, and ask them to reveal their identity by removing the hood before they can come inside. Anger, it turns out, is often fear, and disgust can often be confusion in disguise. Lust stems from loneliness, and sadness is sometimes a mutation of joy, which we may refer to as nostalgia or homesickness. And we need to answer the door, and we need to assess the intentions of our visitors, these things that are emotions. Are they really who they say they are?
Put every impression to the test. You have to ask yourself, is this assumption true?
Nope,
'Cause
still
the
laggy.
reality
What
is
the
a lot of
fuck?
what we instantly believe in a situation is
There was an
preposterous.
update today, and I
Stoicism is
wonder
about
if
testing
that
our
update did something.
perceptions, and it only takes a few moments to do it. Life does happen very fast, and Stoic attitudes about emotion help us to become better processors of the rapid-fire information hitting us every few moments, such as a head in a jar. Because think about Zorro seated across from Captain Love, and how quickly the situation turned from socially awkward and annoying to enraging in just a split second when that jar hit the table. If we're getting better at this, we become more like what Marcus Aurelius described in Meditations, what I began with. To be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea still falls around it. Zorro had become like the rock because he had worked tirelessly to develop self-control, dispense with drunkenness, and learn to count to 10 before reacting. He could now also analyze his opponent, Captain Love, and know his true intentions. That's how he wins. By making it through this situation, Zorro, Don Alejandro, knew that his secret identity may well be compromised, but Love could not prove it unless Alejandro overreacted to his cruel stunt, and he chose not to let him. But his anger never left him, nor should it. Zorro is going to let his anger have its moment because anger is a natural response to evil and injustice. We should all know anger's number if we need to call it, but it cannot be coming over uninvited. And I promise you, every day you and I will both fall short on this, but for every day there is a tomorrow. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing to this video. We've been doing a lot on anger lately at Geeky Stoics, so if you enjoyed this video about Zorro, Ryan Holiday, and Marcus Aurelius, Then check out this one related to Seneca, Star Wars, and Dragon Ball Z. And then come join our community at geekystoics.com, a free weekly email on stoicism, spirituality, and pop culture. We've been trying to come up with the perfect slogan or tagline to close videos on the channel. Right now, it's
I hear a rally point.
mythically.
Seneca says, we shouldn't control anger, but destroy it entirely. But what control is there for a thing that's fundamentally
Oh god,
wicked?
what the fuck?
Lucius Annaeus Seneca was a prominent Roman philosopher and playwright who published several essential works about Stoicism. He counseled Emperor Nero and thought that anger is a temporary madness, and that even when justified, we should never act on the basis of it, because it affects our sanity. Seneca wrote a book specifically on anger called De Ira, which defines and explains anger within the context of Stoic philosophy, and offers advice on how to prevent and control anger. And that's why in this video we're going to look at 10 ways we can control our anger from the teachings of Seneca. Number 1. Recognize that anger is destructive. Seneca says, we shall prevent ourselves from becoming angry if we repeatedly place before our eyes all anger's faults and form a proper
Come on,
judgment of
fat.
it. The first step to dealing with anger is recognizing how problematic this emotion is. We believe Aristotle's way of thinking that anger is not always bad. If one is angry at the right time and in the right context, then anger can sometimes be justified. Aristotelians claimed that virtue lies in navigating the middle course between extremes. Concerning anger, they thought that the virtuous compromise is good temper, which lies between the unvirtuous poles of irascibility that is too much anger and lack of spirit that is too little anger.
Oh, I think he lost a wing.
According to the Stoics,
Maybe.
there is no such thing as a good degree of anger, but it doesn't mean that one has to be passive in the face of injustice. Human nature for the Stoics is that of a social animal capable of reason. It follows that to live according to nature means to apply one's reason to social living. Anger is unreasonable and it damages society, hence it is unnatural in the Stoic sense. Seneca thought that anger was vice with few, if any, exceptions. The three main reasons Seneca lists are: 1. Anger makes you a slave. When we're angry, we're a slave to that anger. We're more likely to make mistakes that we'll end up regretting later. Anger blinds us to the future and the consequences of our actions in the moment, effectively overriding our rational or higher selves and making us slaves to our own subconscious. Anger makes us act in a way that feels gratifying in the short term, but takes us away from our long-term ideals. 2. Anger cannot be slowed down. According to Seneca, anger is a binary emotion. The emotion of anger has a forward momentum that is far more extreme than other emotions. The moment you realize you're angry, you're already under its control. When you're in the middle of acting out anger, you don't pay attention to any other course of action and move headlong into a path of destruction and chaos. You don't want to be calm when you're angry. Anger justifies its own existence. And 3, anger is contagious. Seneca says that anger influences mob-like behavior. Anger is well known for its ability to spread through a social group more than any other passion, and when anger is present, the individuals become one larger angry organism and seem to work perfectly together with a unified vision of havoc. Now that we know how destructive anger is, we need to lessen our attachment to this emotion. Pushing away from anger or disliking it is just a start, but we also need some end goal to move toward. That goal, according to the Stoic philosophy of life, is the attainment of tranquility, which is the state of peace and quiet. Number 2. Recognize your anger triggers and learn to control them. In the words of Seneca, and so the best course is to treat the sickness as soon as it becomes apparent, at that time as well giving oneself the least freedom of speech and curbing emotion. Seneca advises us to be mindful about our anger triggers. That is, to be aware of the events and situations that make you angry. This is important because you'll respond more effectively to your anger when you feel prepared for it. If we practice mindfulness, we'll not only be able to detect the macro patterns that trigger our anger, but also see the specific thoughts that arise and lead to that emotion of anger. The benefit of this is that we'll be able to catch and neutralize them far earlier. Here are some common anger triggers. Being treated unfairly. For example, someone cutting in front of you in a queue, or your boss gives you an inaccurate evaluation at work. Responding to time pressures and frustrations, like leaving a bit late for work and running into traffic, or someone texting you while you're working. Experiencing dishonesty or disappointment, such as your partner cheating on you or your boss failing to give you the raise you were promised. Encountering threats to self-esteem, like receiving a bad grade or getting rejected. Running into prejudice and discrimination, for example, racial or ethnic differences or a disability. And finally, getting attacked, such as being mugged or domestic violence or even just random accidents. Anticipating the possibility of anger increases your ability to express it more constructively. Hence, the more mindful we become about our anger, the more we'll be able to slow it down in the earliest stages of its onset. Number 3. Just wait.
No.
According to Seneca, the greatest cure for anger is to wait,
Hello.
so that the initial passion it engenders may die down, and the fog that shrouds the mind may subside or become less thick. Anger is a poor guide to happiness. Anger interferes with problem solving and good judgment, and makes you rash and rigid in your thinking. While fear drives us to flee, anger drives us to confrontation. Anger motivates revenge and retaliation. This is why even the most respected intellects can be reduced to repetitious expletives when enraged. Hence, whenever you feel you're about to get angry, remove yourself from the situation that's provoking you, or withhold all actions until you feel yourself in a completely tranquil state of mind. Sit on that angry email for a day or two before sending it. Walk away from a fight whenever possible, and seek advice from a calm, ideally neutral third party before taking any hostile action. If you still wish to carry out the angry actions when you're calmer, then by all means go ahead. They may coincide with self-interest, but chances are you won't want to. In the heat of anger, you're likely to make decisions you'll regret. Try reading, meditating, or some other activity you find relaxing. Go for a walk, a bike ride, or do some stretching. This can relieve the tension in your muscles and help you relax. According to the American Psychological Association, deep breathing is one of the fastest ways to reduce the intensity of your anger. Even something as simple as waiting or counting to 10 or repeating a word or phrase that's calming to you, such as relax or let it go or take it easy, all of these can help soothe angry feelings. Anger is an emotion, and emotions do not last forever. All of us will get angry from time to time, but using these strategies will help you control your anger and express your feelings in a way that's more beneficial to you and to others.
Nope, fuck.
Number 4. Use
Why do I keep
art and
pressing
music
5 instead of
to calm
4?
the mind.
Oh well, whatever.
As we learn from Seneca, hot-tempered people should avoid studies that are demanding, or at least engage in ones not liable to end in exhaustion. The mind should not occupy itself with hard tasks, but should be given over to pleasurable arts. Let it be calmed by reading poetry and charmed by the tales of history. Let it be treated with a measure of gentleness and refinement. If you're prone to frustration and anger,
Do I
Seneca
stream
believes
often?
finding art or music that suits you will be
yeah.
beneficial in your
Yeah.
pursuit of a tranquil mind. In modern times, we call this form of anger management expressive
The
theory.
last
Expressive theory encourages people to yell,
like month
scream,
I
and
have
pound
been,
pillows
but
to get out their built-up anger.
other than
The
that,
pillows represent the
meh.
people from their past and their unresolved anger issues.
I've just been streaming a
The
lot
term
because I'm
expressive
addicted
therapy
to this
also
game.
refers to using creative arts as a method of managing anger. This type of therapy is also known as creative arts therapy and expressive arts therapy. Proponents of using expressive therapy as a method of anger management believe that the body will heal through a combination of creative expression and the use of imagination. During an anger management counseling session or class, therapists help identify the anger triggers and unresolved anger issues. Although there are many types of expressive therapy for anger management, the most common ones are music therapy, art therapy, dance therapy, drama therapy, and writing therapy. Nearly any type of art can be calming. Music is a universally loved art form that has the capability of causing an emotional and physical reaction in the listener. It can make you feel more energetic, happy, or sad. When music is used as a form of expressive therapy in managing anger, it's used as a mood stabilizer.
Uh-oh.
When you feel angry, turn on the radio or listen to tracks on your phone and it will help you relax. Number 5. See yourself as an offender. Seneca says, let us put ourselves in the position of the man who's making us angry.
What other games do I
In
play?
point of fact, it's an unjustified estimate of our own worth.
I like Halo.
and
Oh
an
god.
unwillingness to put up with the treatment we would happily inflict on others.
Resident Evil.
Trying to see yourself in others is a great exercise for how to
What
deal
other
with
game?
anger. When we get angry, we're typically outraged at the actions of others.
Fuck was that?
But in all likelihood, we've acted just like them at some point.
Call
in
of
our
Duty
lives.
sometimes here and there.
Ask yourself, how many times have I acted badly? Have I ever acted violently? Have I ever said mean things to someone I later regretted?
Sometimes I
Have
just
I
like
ever
to
manipulated
stream
someone?
like
As
campaign
humans, we all
type
share more
video games
similarities than
or single player
differences.
games.
We've all
Yeah.
acted in regrettable ways and then realised later that our free will is not so free, but is in truth owned to a large degree by our passions.
Nice channel. Thanks.
Number 6. Heal rather than punish. Seneca asks us, how much better is it to heal a
I
wrong
try.
than to avenge one? Vengeance takes considerable time and it exposes a man to many injuries, while
Yeah,
only
you
one causes him resentment.
usually
We always feel
put
anger
all my
more than we feel hurt.
videos on
When someone
YouTube.
directs their anger towards us, it's very common to want to take revenge, to punish people for their wrongdoing. This is the idea behind having a prison system. When someone breaks the law, we deal with that law breaking by punishing them, in the hopes that they'll reform and stop acting in those harmful ways. Unfortunately, what often happens is that people come out of prison as worse offenders than when they went in. The way of having prisons is to punish people who've committed offences. That is, it's about revenge. But the most advanced prison systems in the world, usually to be found
Damn it.
in Scandinavian countries, are based on the entirely different axiom that the point of prison is to reform
I'm glad
the
to come
criminal,
across your
to
channel.
improve him
Hey,
morally,
thanks.
and to eventually allow him to rejoin the broader society.
Glad that
from
you're
which he's
enjoying it.
currently excluded, and in doing so, prevent a recurring offence. This is perfectly in accordance with Seneca's belief that being angry at someone only adds further damage to the situation, while discretion allows healing and at the same time recognizes that there has been an injustice. This is a very constructive attitude when carried over to interpersonal situations involving anger, as it puts the victim in a more powerful position as healer rather than punisher. The act of revenge carries with it connotations of anger. If anger is
Jeez.
bad, then the goal should be to rid
My
anger
damn
both in
NPC got in my
ourselves
way.
and others.
Damn it. Come on now.
Number
What
7.
the?
Choose your friends wisely. Seneca says, choose men who are honest, easygoing, and have self-control. The sort who will not arouse your anger and yet will tolerate it. According to research by social psychologist Dr. David McClelland of Harvard, the people you habitually associate with
Your
determines
gameplay
as
was so
much as
impressive and
95%
entertaining to
of
watch.
success or failure in
Nice, thanks.
But Seneca realized this truth
I try.
thousands of years ago. Anger spreads faster than fire. Hence, if you know you're prone to anger, then you should not surround yourself with friends who trigger that anger or provoke you. The provoker is someone that provokes someone in order to get a response or some type of reaction. Whether someone knows that they're a provoker or even if it's on some hidden subconscious level, they're capable of just as much damage as someone that's abusive. A provoker could be from our friends, from our colleagues, or even our family members. Many times in those relationships, we even feel a struggle to leave because we get so used to a person, and even when they're toxic, we stay. It's important to keep control over our lives and remember that the goal is to achieve tranquility of mind, for which we need to be happy in all of our relationships, including our friendships and our family relationships. So surround yourselves with people that bring more joy into your lives, instead of creating more misery and turbulence for you. Seneca also advises us to resist the urge to be curious if we want to keep a peaceful mind.
Have I
Even
been
if you're surrounded
affiliated
by
yet?
amazing
Nope.
people, you're curious to hear what your friend said about you, or curious to read the messages of your partner who was texting someone attractive. If your goal is to maintain a tranquil and undisturbed mind, you should not want to seek out information that will likely cause you despair. Number 8. Don't seek reasons to be angry. To quote Seneca, it makes you angry that a slave has answered you back. or a freedman, or your wife, or a client. You then go on to complain that the state has been deprived of the freedom of which you have deprived those under your own roof. We always give too much importance to ourselves.
Damn it.
We live in a world of comfort and luxury. This eventually weakens us and makes us soft and thin-skinned. We grow up spoilt and learn to expect things from the world and then get angry when those expectations aren't met. We get angry at almost every minute thing. We get angry when we misplace our things, when we get cut off by bad drivers, or when one of our friends makes an inappropriate joke. At such times, anger makes us feel perversely good. It makes us feel free. But these are all parts of life, and if we get angry every time our expectations about reality aren't met, we will surely live an angry existence. In order to deal with daily anger triggers, the Stoics practice what they call negative visualization. They visualize the worst-case scenario and all the things that could go wrong,
Damn it.
so that they would be ready for whatever may come, but also grateful for the times when negative occurrences were absent. Don't seek reasons to be angry. Instead, seek reasons to be calm. Number 9. Use self-deprecating humor. Seneca asks us, what should a wise person do when
I
given
know
a
to
blow?
hit that is
Same as
somehow
Cato
hard.
when he was attacked.
Yeah.
Not fire up or revenge the insult, or
Oh
even
well.
return the
It
blow,
be what it be.
but simply ignore it. If we feel that we simply must say something in response to an insult, the Stoics recommend that we engage in self-deprecating humor. Seneca points approvingly to Cato's use of humor to deflect a particularly grievous insult. Cato was pleading a case when an adversary named Lentulus spat in his face. Rather than getting angry or returning the insult, Cato calmly wiped off the spit and said, I will swear to anyone, Lentulus, that people are wrong to say that you cannot use your mouth. Self-deprecating humor is a practice in which we insult ourselves even worse than the insulter did. By turning an insult into a joke, we prevent the insult from taking root in our psyche, where it will cause us to experience needless anguish. By laughing off an insult, we're implying that we don't take the insulter or his insults at all seriously. This belittles them and denies them dominance over the situation. It's therefore a response that's
Yeah, a little
deeply
bit.
frustrating,
Yeah.
and hence a humorous reply to an insult can be far more effective than a counter-insult would be. Number 10. Practice self-reflection. And in our final quote from Seneca for this video, he tells us,
Yeah, sure.
should be trained
I'm open
to
for
acquire
suggestions.
They are by nature capable of endurance, provided that the mind, which should be called daily to account for itself, does not persist in undermining them. When you reflect on your own character and actions, you'll gain a greater sensitivity or mindfulness towards how you think and what triggers you into negative emotions. You
Easy.
can start by keeping your anger journal. An anger diary or journal can be a useful tool to help you track your experiences with anger. Make daily entries into your diary that document the situations you encounter that angered you. In order to make the diary most useful, there are particular types of information you'll want to record for each provoking event, such as what happened that gave you pain or made you feel stressed? What was provocative about the situation? What thoughts were going through your mind? On a scale of 0 to 100, how angry did you feel? The purpose of your diary is to help you identify patterns of behavior and specific recurring elements that really push your buttons. With daily self-reflection, you can understand the ways in which you experience anger and plan strategies to cope with your emotions in more productive ways. If you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to check out our full Stoicism playlist, and for more videos to help you find success and happiness using ancient philosophical wisdom, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.
Alright, sure, yeah. I'm down for
Anger, if not restrained,
that.
is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Have you ever felt a surge of anger so intense it almost felt like a volcanic eruption within you? Imagine for a moment that this very anger, burning with the fury of 1,000 suns, could be extinguished, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. We live in a world that often feels like it's designed to test our patience at every turn, pushing us to the brink. But what if I told you that the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that has stood the test of time for over 2 millennia, holds the secret to not just managing, but completely dissolving this anger? It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Yet, here we are, about to embark on a journey that has transformed lives. A journey that promises not just fleeting moments of peace, but a profound, lasting tranquility. Join me as we explore how Stoicism, with its deep insights into the nature of our emotions and thoughts, can guide us to a place of calmness and strength, no matter what life throws our way. Stay tuned as we dive into the heart of what it means to truly let go of anger and embrace a life of serenity and contentment. If you appreciate what we're doing here and want to join a community that dares to tread a different path, the simplest favor I'll ask from you is to hit that subscribe button. And remember, don't skip any part of this video, because like the wisdom of Stoicism itself, you are an exception in a world that often settles for the ordinary. Day 1. Write everything down that you're angry about and burn the list. The task at hand might seem simple at first glance, but it's deeply rooted in a practice that has been a source of solace and strength for many, including one of the most revered figures in history, Abraham Lincoln.
Was I just on this
Lincoln
map?
had a unique strategy for dealing with his frustrations and anger. Whenever he found himself seething with anger towards someone or something, he would retreat to the solitude of his thoughts,
Ah, I'm
pen in
defending
hand,
cringe.
and pour all those tumultuous feelings onto paper. He called these his hot letters. He never sent them. Instead, he would destroy them, effectively allowing all those heated emotions
Who's the
to
big
thin
streamer?
air, leaving no trail of destruction in their wake. So, why are we starting here with a task that involves writing down everything that makes us angry and then setting that list ablaze? Because there is profound wisdom in the act of letting go, a cornerstone principle in Stoicism. The Stoics teach us about the power of distinguishing between what is within our control and what lies beyond it, our reactions, our emotions, and how we choose to handle them. Those are squarely in our domain. The external sources of our anger, not so much. This exercise serves as a physical manifestation of a deeply symbolic gesture, acknowledging our anger, confronting it, and then choosing to let it go, not allowing it to consume us or dictate our actions. It's about taking a moment to reflect on what's been boiling beneath the surface, recognizing it, and then making a conscious decision not to let those flames spread any further. By writing it all down, we're not giving our anger a stage to perform. Instead, we're stripping it of its power, confining it to a piece of paper that will soon turn to ashes. Burning the list is not just an act of destruction, but one of profound liberation. It's a signal to ourselves that we refuse to be held hostage by our anger. It's a declaration that we are ready to move forward, unburdened by the weight of past grievances. This act, inspired by Lincoln's wisdom, is our first step toward embracing a Stoic mindset, one that values the serenity of our inner world over the chaos of the external one. As we watch the paper burn, let it be a reminder that our anger too can be reduced to ashes, leaving behind nothing but the lessons it taught us. This is not about denying our feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about acknowledging them, learning from them, and then letting them go with grace. This is the essence of Stoicism, finding strength in tranquility, power in peace, and wisdom in letting go. Day 2. Stop and see what you look like angry. It's time to stand in front of a mirror, to really look at ourselves while we summon the feeling of anger. This might seem like an unusual, perhaps even uncomfortable request. Yet there's profound wisdom to be gleaned from this exercise. Wisdom deeply anchored in Stoic thought. The Stoics knew that self-awareness plays a crucial role in personal development. by observing our anger in the mirror, we're not just looking at our external appearance, we're being invited to witness the transformation that takes over us when we let anger consume us. It's about recognizing the ugliness of anger, not just as an abstract concept, but as a tangible, visible force that distorts our appearance and, by extension, our self-perception. This task may reveal to us a side we're not proud of, a side that, under normal circumstances, we'd rather hide from the world and from ourselves. Anger has this insidious way of creeping into our expressions, tightening our jaws, furrowing our brows, and setting our eyes ablaze with a fire that can be unsettling to see reflected back at us. This reflection is not just a physical one, it's a mirror to our soul's turmoil, a vivid illustration of how much we let external circumstances dictate our internal state. But here's where the Stoic philosophy shines, teaching us about the absurdity of anger. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the fleeting nature of human life and the triviality of the things that so often enrage us. By looking at ourselves in the throes of anger, we're given a stark visual
You
of
have
how trivial
returned.
matters can
Nice.
contort our entire being.
Swag.
This exercise illuminates the potential of anger to alienate us not just from others, but from our true selves. It's a moment of clarity where the absurdity of allowing external events to control our most intimate expressions becomes undeniable. Yet, there's also a sense of liberation in this recognition. Understanding the power we've unwittingly granted anger allows us to begin reclaiming that power. It's a step towards not allowing ourselves to be puppeteered by every slight, every inconvenience that crosses our path. This self-observation acts as a reminder of our ability to choose a different response, to not let anger sculpt our faces into a mask of hostility and bitterness. In embracing this Stoic exercise, we're doing more than just confronting our anger. We're initiating a dialogue with ourselves about who we want to be. Do we wish to go through life with our features twisted by anger? Or do we seek to present a face of calm, of serenity and understanding, even in the face of provocation? This is the choice Stoicism lays before us, offering not just a philosophical perspective, but a practical tool for embodying the virtues we aspire to. Day 3. Find somewhere beautiful you can go to. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that is impervious to the external chaos of the world. He believed that the greatest retreat, the most serene sanctuary, lies within our own minds, accessible at any moment, regardless of our circumstances. This isn't about escapism or denial of the realities that confront us. Rather, it's about finding a place of peace and renewal amidst the tumult, a center of calm within the storm. The beauty of this concept lies in its simplicity and its profound depth. To find a place of beauty doesn't require us to book an exotic vacation or even step outside our homes. It requires us to delve into the depths of our own consciousness to discover and cultivate a mental space where peace and beauty reign.
Rally point got destroyed.
This could be a memory of a place or moment that brought us joy, a visualization of a serene landscape, or simply a state of mind that we associate with calm and beauty. For some, this mental refuge might be a childhood memory of lying in the grass, looking up at a cloudless sky, completely at ease. For others, it might be the imagined sound of waves crashing against the shore, or the
now it was
tranquility of a
destroyed.
mountain summit above the clouds.
Damn it.
The key is that this place, real or imagined, is ours alone. A sanctuary that we can return to when our waves of anger begin to rise. This practice of finding our own place of beauty is not just about temporary respite. It's about fundamentally altering our relationship with anger. By consciously choosing to retreat to our place of beauty, we're exercising our ability to choose our response to the world around us. We're recognizing that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we have complete control over how we respond. And in choosing to respond with peace, with a retreat to beauty, we're embracing one of the core tenets of Stoicism, the power of our own minds to shape our experiences. Moreover, this exercise strengthens our ability to find beauty and peace in the external world as well. As we cultivate our inner sanctuaries, we become more attuned to the moments of beauty that surround us every day. The warmth of the sun on our face, the gentle rustle of leaves in the wind, the simple joy of a shared smile. These moments, though fleeting, remind us that beauty and peace are never far from reach, that they exist not just in the grand vistas, but in the small, ordinary moments of life. Day 4. Create a mantra to repeat when you get upset. This isn't just about finding a catchy phrase to distract ourselves. It's about anchoring our thoughts, reminding ourselves of our commitment to Stoicism's principles, and consciously choosing the path of patience, understanding, and tranquility over the tumultuous waters of anger. A mantra is more than just a set of words. It's a verbal embodiment of our highest ideals, a beacon that guides us back to our Stoic center when the world around us seems determined to push us off course. It's a practice deeply rooted in the Stoic teachings that emphasize the importance of controlling our perceptions and reactions to external events. Just as Marcus Aurelius had his meditations, Seneca his letters, and Epictetus his discourses, we too can have our mantra, a personal declaration of our commitment to Stoic virtues. The creation of a mantra is a deeply personal process, one that requires us to reflect on the values that are most important to us and the kind of person we aspire to be. It might be a phrase that encourages us to see the bigger picture, to remember that this too shall pass, or to recognize that we have the power within to remain unharmed. It could be a reminder to embrace the obstacle or to find strength in serenity. The key is that it resonates with you on a profound level and encapsulates the essence of your Stoic practice. When faced with situations that test our patience or provoke our anger, repeating our mantra can act as a psychological pause button, giving us the momentary break we need to step back from our immediate reactions and choose a more considered response. It's a tool that empowers us to break the cycle of automatic emotional responses and to align our actions with our philosophical ideals. By repeating our mantra, we remind ourselves of our capacity for reason, for compassion, and for maintaining our tranquility in the face of life's challenges. This practice of creating and using a mantra also serves as a daily reinforcement of our Stoic beliefs. It integrates Stoicism into the fabric of our daily lives, making it not just a philosophy we study, but a lived experience that shapes our every interaction. Over time, our mantra becomes not just a tool for managing anger, but a constant companion, a source of strength and clarity that guides us through the complexities of life. As we embark on the task of creating our mantra, let's approach it with the seriousness and reverence it deserves. Let's choose words that speak to the depths of our soul, that reflect our highest aspirations, and that commit us to the Stoic path. And let's use our mantra not just as a shield against anger, but as a light that guides us toward wisdom, virtue, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Day 5. People watch for 20 minutes. At first glance, this task might seem like a passive activity, perhaps even a mundane one. Yet, within this
Yo, I'm on Enlisted right now, down to play an American and do a match. Sure, I'm down.
Our perception of the world and our place
After I'm done with this
not just
match.
About watching, it's about observing with intention, about learning from the world around us, and
Jesus Christ.
a deeper sense of empathy and understanding. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to become ensnared in our own narrative to view our challenges and frustrations as monumental obstacles that tower over everything else. Our problems can feel all-consuming, clouding our judgment and inflating our sense of importance. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism, and specifically the practice of people watching, can bring clarity and perspective. The Stoics, with their keen insights into human nature, understood the value of stepping back, of observing the world from a broader vantage point. Marcus Aurelius often spoke of viewing life from above, of considering the vast tapestry of human existence and recognizing our fleeting place within it. When we sit down to observe others, we're doing more than just watching people go about their day. We're engaging in a practice of perspective-taking that is both humbling and enlightening. We see the myriad ways in which life unfolds for others, the small joys, the struggles, the moments of connection, and the instances of frustration. We witness the commonality of the human experience, how the themes of love, loss, ambition, and disappointment play out in countless variations across the faces and actions of those we observe. This act of observation serves as a powerful reminder that, in the grand scheme of things, our problems are often not as monumental as they seem. It helps us to recognize that just as we are navigating the complexities of our lives, so too is everyone around us.
Oh yeah.
This realization fosters a sense of empathy, a recognition of our shared humanity, and a diminishing of the self-centered perspective that can so often lead to frustration and anger. Moreover, people watching as a Stoic practice encourages us to reflect on our reactions to the world. By observing how others respond to their circumstances, we can gain insights into our own patterns of behavior. We see the futility of anger and frustration, how these emotions often escalate situations rather than resolve them. We're reminded of the Stoic ideals of equanimity and acceptance, of responding to life's challenges with grace and composure. As we engage in this practice, let us do so with a spirit of curiosity and openness. Let's observe not to judge, but to understand, not to criticize, but to learn. Let this time of people watching be a mirror that reflects back to us the shared struggles and joys of being human, a reminder of the transient nature of our frustrations, and an invitation to respond to the world with empathy, patience, and understanding. Day 6. Discover a creative practice that captures your attention. The Stoics recognize the importance of engaging in activities that enrich the soul and expand the mind. While they might not have specifically mentioned picking up a paintbrush or strumming a guitar, the essence of their teachings encourages us to find channels for our emotions, to direct our energy towards endeavors that not only bring
Holy
us
fuck,
joy,
I'm doing so bad all
but
of a
also
sudden.
foster a sense of accomplishment and peace. Engaging in a creative outlet does more than just provide a distraction from the things that frustrate or anger us.
I think
It
my
offers
game's
us a
lagging. What
unique
the hell?
space where we can express ourselves freely, without judgment or constraint. Creativity is a dialogue between our innermost feelings and the external world. A dialogue that can be incredibly therapeutic and enlightening. Whether it's through writing, painting, music, dance, or any other form of creative expression, we're given the opportunity to explore our emotions, to understand them, and to transform them into something tangible and often beautiful. This transformation is where the true magic lies. By channeling our emotions into our creative endeavors, we're not merely diverting our attention away from anger. We're actively engaging in a process of alchemy, turning the lead of our frustrations into the gold of artistic expression. This process is deeply cathartic, allowing us to release pent-up emotions in a way that is constructive and enriching. Moreover, the act of creating something, of bringing a new idea or piece of art into existence, instills a sense of pride and accomplishment, counteracting the feelings of helplessness or agitation that often accompany anger.
Bro, sleeping on the
Beyond
job.
the personal benefits,
True.
engaging in a creative practice can enhance our well-being and happiness on multiple levels. Creativity stimulates the brain.
Yeah. Hello? What do you have, mic or nah? Not at the moment. Alright, that's fine. That's cool. Well, I'm ready whenever you is. Alright, let's fucking do it. Oh, I think I took too big of a hit. Oofed. Just good at chatting game. Alright. Why is my game laggy? I wonder if it had anything to do with the update that was, I think, today. Oh, wait. Accidentally shot at one of our own. Lol.
Encouraging us to think in new and innovative ways. It connects us with a sense of flow, that deeply immersive state where time seems to stand still and we're completely absorbed in the task at hand. This state of flow is not only incredibly satisfying, but also contributes to our overall mental and emotional health. Moreover, creativity fosters a sense of connection to our own inner worlds and to the broader community of creators and appreciators. Sharing our creative work, whether it's a piece of writing, a painting, or a musical composition, opens the door to meaningful interactions and connections with others. It reminds us that we're not alone in our experiences. Emotions and complexity are part of the shared human experience. Day 7. Using an active pause. Refuse to engage. This seemingly simple technique is a powerful tool in our Stoic arsenal, helping us navigate the tumultuous seas of our emotions, particularly anger. It's about creating a deliberate space between stimulus and response, a momentary halt that allows us to choose how we react to the world around use. This practice is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the importance of self-control and the freedom that comes from not being enslaved by our immediate reactions. The concept of an active pause is not about inaction or passivity. Rather, it's a dynamic form of engagement with our own inner processes. It's about recognizing the moment when our emotions are on the verge of boiling over and consciously deciding to step back. This pause is an act of empowerment, a declaration that we are not at the mercy of our first impulses. Instead, we claim the space and time necessary to reflect on our values and choose a response that aligns with them. In the heat of the moment, when anger threatens to take the reins, the active pause serves as a cooling bath. It's a reminder that we have the power to choose a different path, one of reason, compassion, and understanding. By inserting this pause into our reactions, we open up the possibility for more constructive and meaningful interactions. We give ourselves the chance to consider the broader context, to empathize with others, and to respond in a way that builds bridges rather than burning them. This practice also reflects the Stoic teaching that it's not external events that disturb us, but our judgment about them. When we pause, we're given the opportunity to examine these judgments, to question their validity, and to adjust our perspective. This can lead to a profound shift in how we experience the world, transforming situations that might once have sparked anger into opportunities for growth and learning. But how do we cultivate this practice in our daily lives? It starts with mindfulness, with developing an awareness of our emotional state and the triggers that can lead to anger. This awareness allows us to recognize the early signs of frustration or irritation, signaling the need for an active pause. During this pause, we can take a few deep breaths, step back from the situation, and ask ourselves key questions. Why am I feeling this way? What values do I want to guide my response? What outcome am I hoping for? This reflective process enables us to move forward with intention, choosing actions that reflect our true selves and our commitment to Stoic principles. The beauty of the active pause is that it can be applied in any situation, from minor annoyances to significant conflicts. It's a universally accessible tool that requires no special equipment or circumstances, just the willingness to take that momentary step back and choose a different response. As we practice this technique, it becomes a natural part of our repertoire, a habitual response that enhances our ability to live according to Stoic virtues. Day 8. Write down 10 things that make you angry, then find what's funny about them. This is not about trivializing our feelings or dismissing the validity of our frustrations. Instead, it's a profound practice deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, emphasizing the power of shifting our perspective to manage our emotions more effectively. It's about the transformative power of humor and the realization that sometimes the weight we give to our grievances is a choice, and we can choose to lighten it. The Stoics understood that our reactions to external events are within our control. They taught us that by changing our interpretations or judgments of these events, we can change our emotional responses to them. This exercise is a perfect example of applying that principle. It challenges us to look at the things that typically provoke us and see them through a different lens, one that highlights the absurdity, the irony, or even the simple human folly involved. This isn't just about finding a reason to laugh. It's about recognizing the often exaggerated importance we assign to our anger triggers and choosing a more balanced, healthier response. Consider, for instance, the daily irritations that might make your list: traffic jams, spilled coffee, a colleague's annoying habit, or a misplaced phone. In the heat of the moment, these can seem like monumental frustrations, capable of derailing our entire day. But when we pause and view them from a different angle, their comedic potential begins to emerge. Traffic jams become a collective human experience in patience, or lack thereof. Spilled coffee, a reminder of the universe's penchant for chaos, and so on. By finding the humor in these situations, we're not diminishing our initial feelings of frustration. Instead, we're giving ourselves permission to move beyond them, to embrace a more joyful and resilient state of mind. This practice also taps into the physiological and psychological benefits of laughter. Laughter triggers the release of endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals, promoting an overall sense of well-being and temporary relief from pain. It enhances our intake of oxygen-rich air, stimulates our heart, lungs and muscles, and increases the endorphins released by our brain. Furthermore, laughter can improve our immune system, relieve pain, increase personal satisfaction, and improve mood. Long-term benefits that can contribute significantly to our health and happiness. Moreover, finding humor in our frustrations can foster a sense of connection with others. Shared laughter is one of the quickest ways to bond and reduce social tension. When we share our humorous perspective on common frustrations, we are likely to find that others can relate, creating moments of connection and understanding. This not only helps to dissipate our anger, but also reminds us that we're not alone in our experiences. Day 9. Find a physical outlet for your anger. The Stoics believed in the virtue of self-discipline and the importance of maintaining harmony between the mind and the body. They recognized that a perturbed mind could disrupt physical well-being and vice versa. Hence, they advocated for practices that could fortify the mind's resilience and ensure its dominion over emotions such as anger. Exercise, in this context, emerges as a powerful tool, a physical manifestation of Stoic principles that teaches us to redirect our turbulent energies and cultivate a state of calm and balance. Engaging in physical activity, be it a brisk walk, a rigorous workout session, or a tranquil session of yoga, serves multiple purposes. Firstly, it acts as a distraction, pulling our focus away from the objects of our anger and allowing us a reprieve from the cycle of negative thoughts. This in itself can be incredibly liberating, providing us with the space and clarity needed to reassess our emotions from a more balanced perspective. More profoundly, exercise influences our physiological state, triggering the release of endorphins, often referred to as the body's natural mood elevators. These chemicals have the power to mitigate the sensations and foster a sense of well-being, effectively countering the physical and emotional strain of anger. The act of moving our bodies, pushing through physical limitations, and achieving personal milestones can also reinforce our sense of self-efficacy and control, reminding us of our ability to conquer challenges both on and off the exercise mat. But the benefits of exercise extend beyond the immediate rush of endorphins or the distraction it provides.
Damn it.
Regular physical activity has been shown to reduce levels of stress, anxiety, and depression over time, contributing to a more resilient and composed emotional state. It enhances our capacity for self-regulation, making it easier for us to manage our responses to anger-inducing situations. In essence, exercise equips us with a kind of emotional armor, fortifying us against the slings and arrows of daily life and enabling us to face challenges with stoic calm and determination. As we embark on today's exercise, let us approach it not merely as a physical task, but as a practice imbued with philosophical significance. Let us be mindful of the rhythm of our breath, the strength in our limbs, and the resilience of our spirit as we move. Let each step,
I
each
will
stretch,
be right back.
each exertion be a testament to our commitment to living a balanced, stoic life. Day 10. Make gratitude a habit and practice it today. This isn't just about saying thank you more often or acknowledging when someone does us a favor. It's a deeper, more profound shift in how we view the world and our place within it. Cultivating gratitude is a practice deeply interwoven with Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to appreciate what we have, to understand the value of our experiences, and to see the abundance that surrounds us, even in our darkest moments. The Stoics recognize that our focus determines our reality. By choosing to shift our focus from our frustrations and angers to the abundance and beauty in our lives, we open ourselves up to a transformative experience. This shift isn't about ignoring the challenges or injustices we face, but about changing our relationship with them. It's about seeing the opportunities for growth, learning, and connection that even our most difficult moments provide. Practicing gratitude means actively looking for the good in our lives, acknowledging it, and appreciating its value. It means waking up each day and recognizing the miracle of life itself, the beauty of the natural world, the kindness of friends, the comfort of home, and the myriad small blessings that we often overlook in our pursuit of something more, something better. It's about realizing that contentment doesn't come from external achievements or possessions, but from an inner sense of appreciation and acceptance of what is. This practice enriches our lives in countless ways. It fosters a sense of contentment that isn't easily shaken by external circumstances. When we're grateful, the setbacks and irritations that once might have sparked anger become less significant, less capable of disturbing our peace. Gratitude strengthens our relationships, as it encourages us to see and appreciate the value in others. It transforms our interactions, making us more generous, empathetic, and kind. Moreover, gratitude has profound effects on our mental and physical health. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can improve sleep, reduce stress, enhance our immune system, and contribute to a lower risk of chronic diseases. It can increase our overall satisfaction with life, making us more resilient in the face of adversity and more open to the beauty and opportunities that life offers. But how do we make gratitude a habit? It starts with intention. It requires us to slow down, to pay attention, and to consciously acknowledge the good in our lives. It might involve keeping a gratitude.
Oh, I should have just got the pizza later. Oh well. But, shit. I didn't think I was AFK that long. I'm probably gonna get off. I'm gonna eat and then got other things to do. Would be nice if my friend would join Games Lounge and chat with me and Joe. No, I'm okay. Well, I mean, yeah, yell at Josh or someone to get on. I see it.